Indiana soybean checkoff dollars support you with many, many, many tools to help you get the most out of your bean. Activate your membership at indianabeanbenefits.com.
On our Better Farming Report today, we're going to talk to Gary Coleman from Farm Credit Mid-America here at the Indiana-Illinois Farm Equipment Show. Farmers coming here to the show to begin to think about 2017, make plans for 2017, get the inputs that they need for a new crop. But this year, after 2 years of thin to virtually non-existent market margins, it's going to be a tough one to figure out how you plan to profit in 2017. Gary, it is a tough year. It's going to be a tough year. Operating loans and finances on the minds of a lot of producers. How are you counseling growers to approach 2017?
Oh, really good question, Gary. First thing we're asking farmers or suggesting farmers to do is sit down with your loan officer. Bring your numbers in, bring your projections in, sit down with your loan officer and just have a conversation with them. Talk about what your plans are for 2017. What are your goals for 2017? What do you want to accomplish for 2017? Also kind of look back what happened in 2016 and what can we learn from 2016 and apply that to 2017. Talking about, what are your acres you're going to farm? What's your cost and input structure look like? Are there expenses that perhaps we can think about reducing or managing a little bit differently? What are your capital expenditure needs for 2017? Thinking about those types of questions and having that type of a conversation with most of our borrowers that come in for operating needs for 2017.
Now, for a lot of guys, the situation has changed. 2015, 2016, sometimes we had some reserves, we had some equity. 2017, guys may find their financial situation a lot different than it's been the last few years. What change in philosophy do they need to think about as they're sitting down with their banker?
Yeah, the last couple of years we've definitely, particularly coming out of the last ag cycle where we saw producers build a significant amount of equity, significant amount of working capital, cash on hand. And after 2015 and now 2016, we've actually seen significant amounts of working capital burn, meaning their working capital has declined. And in some cases, it's gone all the way to zero. It might even be negative in many cases. And so we're asking those borrowers to come to us, talk to us. What is your plan for 2017? What are you going to do differently? Are you thinking about that high cash rent property? Is that the best thing for my business? Is there ways that I could reduce my input costs? Can I manage my operating loan differently to reduce interest expense? We know we're in an environment where interest rates are going up likely, and reducing your interest expense doesn't necessarily mean you got to have the absolute lowest interest rate, but managing that loan will help you reduce your interest expense. And so we're really asking producers to really think about that, look at their cost structure, and how can they do it differently in 2017.
Now, there's a lot of new technology here for sale at the farm show. There's a lot of new opportunities for growers to make their operations a little more efficient. You're not saying that in 2017 we just don't buy anything, we just try to hunker down and make it do it as cheaply as possible. What kind of plan do we put together that allows us to make our operations more efficient without not buying anything?
Sure, that's a great conversation. And really, that's why we ask them to share their goals with us. What are your needs in 2017? If us as your lender have an understanding of what your goals are and what you want to achieve, then we can help you think about prioritizing. If it is a planter that you need for your operation, perhaps maybe you don't need to spend the dollars on a combine that might last for another year or two. Or if it's the combine that you need, maybe it's not a planter. Whereas when we were in the peak of the the grain prices, it probably was okay to maybe purchase that planter and the combine in the same year. But in a year like this, we want to prioritize. And then we also want to make sure that we have those financing set up on the right terms. When grain prices were showing opportunity for profit, we might take that planter and spread it out over, say, 3 years of financing. Now, where profits are a lot thinner and a lot more marginal, maybe even nothing, we probably want to stretch that out over, say, 5 years, perhaps even 7 in some situations, depending on what the borrower's circumstances might be.
Can growers put out a crop, be efficient? Can they farm in 2017 and still make money?
Absolutely. I think we're seeing, when we came into 2016, price-wise, I think we're seeing some similar comparisons between 2017 and 16. We were looking at situations where we were thinking, 2016 was going to be a burn year, where borrowers were going to reduce their working capital position. And due to yields the way they came out this year, and good management of their expense structure, good risk management with crop insurance and price risk management, we actually saw some borrowers either maintain or build working capital in 2016. And I don't see why those same principles that they did in 2016 won't apply in 2017. It just goes back to good, solid management, thinking about those input costs, thinking about your production management, your risk management with crop insurance, and risk management with the price.
Final question. Do we have the credit out there to support farmers as they go into 2017? We'll be hearing the government's running out of money. Some banks are really tightening up on the amount of credit they have. Can farmers get the credit they need for 2017?
I'm a little biased with that question because I am with Farm Credit Mid-America, but I would say yes, there is adequate amounts of credit out there for farmers, particularly those farmers that have got a plan and they're going into 2017 with a good idea of what they want to know. They've talked to their lender. It doesn't have to be Farm Credit that you have to talk to. If you sit down with your lender and you share your goals and your plans, more than likely you're going to be able to get your financing that you need.
Gary Coleman with Farm Credit Mid-America. Again, they've got some great financial resources online at e-farmcredit.com, or again, check with your local Farm Credit office. They'll work with you as you begin to plan for 2017. Our Better Farming Report made possible by your Indiana Soybean Checkoff through the Indiana Soybean Alliance. I'm Gary Truitt for Hoosier Ag Today.
Indiana Soybean Checkoff dollars support you with many, many, many tools to help you get the most out of your bean. Activate your membership at indianabeanbenefits.com.